Art education is essential, and here in Washington State, the legislators recognize that. They've established a Washington State Arts Commission to oversee art education in the schools, and they've established learning requirements that every student in the state is required to meet before graduation. Unfortunately, the instruction provided by the schools is not meeting the standard. And there are a couple of studies that indicate why this is happening. Both of them are from 2009, the most recent year that data is available. One was by the Washington State Arts Commission, and one was by the Seattle Council of Arts and Culture. And both of these studies report that the overarching barrier to schools meeting the standards in the arts is that there is not a continuous source of funding for the arts. Let me explain what I mean by this. Here in Washington State, education is funded by taxes called levies. And there are two kinds of levies. There's a standard levy, in which every property owner in the state is taxed an equal percentage, and that money is pooled and then distributed to every school in the state. And the standard levy funds most academic programs. But in addition to the standard levy, there's a special levy, and it's the special levy that funds the arts. And the special levies are voted district by district and year by year. So this has some pretty detrimental consequences for art education in the schools. The major consequence is that funding is inconsistent. So this affects instruction, instructional staff, and this affects materials. So for instance, if a district passes the levy in one year, there would be money to hire a certified art teacher, and then if that levy fails the next year, there's not funding for that teacher's salary. So now the art education has to be taught by someone without a certificate in the arts, or perhaps by a parent volunteer. A similar consequence happens to the detriment of the materials. When the levy passes, materials are available, and when the levy fails, there is no funding to support the purchase of needed materials. And so the program gets watered down. And because there is no continuous source of funding, both the Washington Arts Commission report and the Seattle Council of Arts and Culture report indicate that the art education is fragmented and below standard. When legislators mandate that students meet standards, they are responsible for making sure that the schools have the money to provide adequate instruction so that the students can meet those standards. And art education is essential. When our students are learning the arts, they are learning skills that they need for 21st century living, like collaboration and creativity. Our world is shrinking. As young people enter the workforce, they will be working with people from other countries, other cultures, other ways of thinking and being. They have to know how to collaborate. Arts teach collaboration. When students perform together to produce a piece of music, the band or the orchestra members must collaborate. When actors and costume makers and lighting technicians and prop technicians produce a theater work, they have to collaborate. The arts teach collaboration, an essential skill for 21st century living. In addition to collaboration, young people need creativity when they enter the workforce. Einstein reminds us that we cannot solve problems with the same mindset that created the problem. As young people try to solve the problems that have been created today, they have to have new ways of thinking. Arts teach creativity. Generating a work of art is a creative act. Interpreting a piece of music is a creative act. Enacting a story through play and theater is a creative act. So the art education is essential. And the schools are not providing instruction that meets standards. So we have to change the way that the arts are funded so that the schools can provide education that allows students to meet the standards. A simple solution would be to change art education funding from special levy to standard levy. Then the funding source would be consistent from year to year. You can help. You can contact your legislator and point out that the current system is not viable. It is not allowing schools to provide instruction for students to meet the standards. If we change art education from special levy to standard levy, we can provide stronger art programs for our students. Contact your legislator, point out that this is an essential need. When young people play with the arts, they learn collaboration and creativity. When young people play with the arts, we all benefit. Clearly, art education is essential. Let's provide the funding so that art education can help students meet the standards.